Zeta Gundam is my favourite Gundam because it embodies everything that makes the Gundam franchise what it is. Everything that is good about Gundam is rolled up and served in a delicious dish in the form of Zeta Gundam. It's a timeless classic that never gets old no matter how many times you see it. Considering where it sits in the UC timeline, some fans refer to it as the Empire Strikes Back of the Gundam universe. If you look at it in terms of what I call the original UC trilogy, Mobile Suit Gundam, Zeta Gundam, and then Char's Counterattack. Now all these things I'm about to say are based on the new translation movies, as that's easier for me to go back and rewatch multiple times, rather than the whole show. Plus Tomino himself said he wanted to fix things from the TV show, but I recommend at least watching the full show once. For me, this is Tomino bringing his A game in directing. He makes sure the viewer is never lost in the geography of the scene, and displays some of the huge scale differences between the human characters and the giant structures they go in. He also knows how to craft an excellent battle scene, like the Psycho Gundam's attack on New Hong Kong, which has become a bit of an iconic battle. We start with Camille and 4 having a romantic, heartfelt moment on some rooftop building in New Hong Kong, which will be played up later on. This is great setup and character development right here. They are interrupted by an explosion. The colour palette changes to a shade of purple, as if to match 4's clothes and aura she often emits. As the ground and air are filled with flames, you make sure you feel the overwhelming eerie presence as the Psycho Gundam slowly floats across the city, using a camera shot of being directly underneath it. This really hits home how terrifying this situation would be. When 4 is inside the Psycho Gundam, again Tomino chooses to use another underneath camera shot, giving 4's state of mind in that moment as she looks down on the city, not just in viewpoint, but as she thinks the city and its people are beneath her and could never understand her. This was truly a battle of lovers, and he conveyed it in such a way. It's always one of the key things I think about regarding Zeta Gundam. Tomino makes plenty of other great choices throughout the 3 films. Whether it's an action scene or just a normal standard scene, they all flow together quite fluidly. I guess this is where I should talk about the music, and what a score Zeta Gundam has. Again, this is another strong point. The music composed here is nothing short of amazing. Not to sound morbid, but Zeta's death music is the most appropriate death music ever. You could literally put that music on any video games player's death or game over screen and it would fit. Then you have the other beats, which are all catchy like the battle theme. It's certainly music that sticks in your head long after you finish watching the films. Then we have the animation. Now the new translation movies use a mix of old and new animation, which still keeps the same classic looks and designs. It's of course done by the legend that is Yoshikazu. Whenever I picture Gundam in my head, it's his designs that always rise to the top. They just have this timeless classic look to them. There isn't any jarring animation, it all moves really well, with some cool effects on top to add that extra dimension. Now of course, this partly being a show about giant robots, you'd wonder how those would actually be in terms of looks. Well, you needn't worry, as one of the mech designers on this show and film was Mamoru Nagano. This is the man that went on to create 5-star stories, and if you know anything about that, you'll know the mech designs in there are stellar, and that's exactly what Zeta Gundam has, some gorgeous mobile suits. There's far too many to mention, but I'd happily buy them as Gunpla. The plot of the film is like I said at the start, it's got the Gundam blueprint in perfect form. It's not a simple story, but it's not hard to follow, as it involves the entangled web of war and politics, with romance and discovery of oneself. It's a story that will keep you glued to your screen to the very end. Zeta Gundam has quite possibly the strongest lineup of cast of characters in all of Gundam. To use a wrestling term, it's like the WrestleMania of Gundam, or what I like to call it, Zetamania. You have your already long established superstars like Char and Amuro, Bright, and the rest of the 1-year war crew, etc. Then you have the top upcoming superstars like Camille, Jared, 4 and Emma. Then you have your major heels, aka bad guys depending on your point of view, in Basque, Haman Khan and Siriko. Along with the class acting supporting cast characters, to me you have a roster of individuals that won't be beaten again. With all these players on the field, it could have been very easy for certain characters to overshadow everyone else, like Char and Amuro, who are pretty much the 2 main characters of the Gundam franchise in general. Yet the movies nor the original show never become just about them. You never feel like Camille or anybody is tossed to the side to make way for Char or Amuro. The movies themselves do a fantastic job of juggling the humongous cast across 3 films. I felt like everyone's screen time was just right, and that's important because As with anything, you need the connection to the people you're watching, their struggles and trials as they grow into the person they are, and sometimes not the person who they thought they would be. To me, Zeta Gundam is not just the best Gundam, but it's one of the best animes ever. It really is that good. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.